Hello, welcome to FOPY'sCreations. I'm Jan. Just a heads up really, if you're tuning in for sewing tutorials, painting tutorials, or basically tutorials on anything crafty, you could be on the wrong channel. Basically what I do here is just show how I make things or what I'm making, and just share it with you. And if anybody can learn from that, that's just great. Being the summer, I'm thinking that my videos might be less regular because obviously I want to make the most of the good weather when it comes. We've also got our holiday coming up next week, so I won't be around to make any then. But today I just thought I'd just give a quick video on what I'm doing. I've got a couple of projects in the pipeline at the moment. I'm actually in the middle of trying to make this top for the holiday, and I actually bought at the charity shop a pink cotton curtain, which is it's like a muslin, and I've got as far as that. I've put together the front and back, and I'm just in the process of putting the neck facing on. So I will do that later, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be ready for the holiday, assuming that I'm happy with it when it's on. Because you never know with these things. It's nothing more frustrating than making it, looking at the picture and thinking, yeah, that's what I wear, and then put it on and think, what was I thinking? We'll see, but I'll obviously show you pictures of when that is actually finished. For once I'm actually following instructions. You know what I'm like, I don't generally follow instructions very well. Another project I've got in mind, I think I may have already said this in another one. I want to knit myself a jumper or cardigan, and I want to knit Duncan a jumper. In FOPY'sFrance, I don't know whether you would have noticed, but he's got this cardigan that he actually bought at a vide grenier, and it's just multicoloured stripes, and he absolutely loved that jumper, but it's getting a little bit tired, shall we say. So I've decided I will knit him a new one because don't tell him, but I'm a bit fed up with seeing it. And last weekend went to, I think it was two vide greniers and one fete, and at each of the vide greniers I actually bought 2 big shopping bags of wool. Let me just show you. There we go. I've added a couple of extra balls in there that I had in the loft here in my stash, but I've put them all together, all double knit, so that Duncan can choose the colour he wants, and then I'll choose mine. And I put on Facebook amongst sort of friends here that because it's really hard to find English patterns here, and I just cannot read the French ones. So I actually put a post out to say that I'm looking for a cardigan or a jumper for man and lady, and did anybody know where I could get them? And a very good friend who I met at a book club here gave me a selection of patterns, and I've scanned them and photocopied them so I can give her patterns back to her, and that's what I'm going to go with. So it's the next project. I'm not going to take it on holiday because I know I'll be too hot and I won't want to knit when it's hot, and it's probably not the right time of year to be starting knitting, because any of you knitters out there know it's not very easy to knit when you're hot. Your hands are hot and sweaty. So I may start it when I come back and just do it in the evenings if they're cool, or it might just not get done till nearer the autumn. But I'll be glad to set the projects up, know I've got my wool, I know I've got needles, so I've got hundreds of pairs, and then we can get started on that. So that's that project. It'll only be a easy pattern because I want something I can just knit while I'm watching TV and not have to think about patterns. And then Duncan's jumper that I was talking about was very basic, really, very just plain stocking stitch and knit. So that's what I'm aiming to do, and I want to mix all the colours up so that it's a sort of thing you can wear with anything, because it will more or less go with anything. Incidentally, I got one bag with, I can't remember how many, well, I mean those bags are quite big, but I can't remember how many balls of wool were in them. but they're all new balls of wool. I got one bag for €15, the other one for 10. So I mean, and a ball of wool, especially a 500-gram ball of wool, would be €10+ each here. It really is expensive here. So I did have some wool that I bought while we were still living in the UK, and we sort of tried to foresee times when we might not have a lot of money, things like that. So we did bring certain materials and things with us so that we'd have something to do should Duncan not be working or me not be working. So that's part of the stash I've got as well. Not a lot of it, but it's certainly not had to be used as much as we thought, because we both got quite busy when we were here. So that's my top I'm in the middle of, and I'm going to do some knitting. And I've got, you know, I painted all my ornaments in the garden. I'd overlooked my two little birds here. I'd forgotten they were out there on top of the shed. I think the little blue tits, this one, bless him, has lost his little tail, but he still deserves to have some colour. So that's another project. I'm going to be painting them, brighten them up before I put him back out the garden. You'll probably not have seen it yet, but there's a video going out including Duncan's project, and he is creating a compost toilet for our garden. As you know, our garden, or as you will know if you watch FOPY'sFrance, that the garden isn't attached to the house. It's just a little walk down a little alleyway behind the house. So should we be in the garden, get caught short, need the toilet, it's a bit of a pain to have to come all the way back here. So he's built this toilet in the garden. Now we've got a party coming up a few weeks after we come back off holiday, and I think, and we're hoping that people might feel comfortable using it, because it'll be a lot better for them as well. If not, we just give the keys to the sheet and they go in and use that toilet. But this toilet needs a sign. So Duncan has found or bought 2 slates. That is my job today, is to paint them. I can't talk and paint. The reason being I can't put my phone into flight mode to stop any calls or interference with my sound, because I'm waiting on a phone call, hopefully for her sake, from Sharon, saying that she can now leave the hospital. Now you all know that she's had a knee operation. Well, she's had to go back in after having a checkup with the surgeon. He said the flexibility of her knee wasn't as it should be. So he took her in to actually manipulate the knee under anaesthetic. It was a bit lost in translation, but we thought that she would be in there just, I don't know, a day at most, and that she would be home. And today is the 3rd day, because he still wasn't quite as happy with the progress as he was hoping to be. He's been coming and manipulating, and he's really been hurting her actually, but then the muscle does need to be stretched, or she's not going to be able to walk as well as she would like. And they put her on this, like a machine as well, that bends it for her. So that's the trouble, when you know it's going to hurt, it's hard, isn't it? And you know yourself, if you do something that you know is going to hurt, you're not going to put the same amount of effort into it as someone else will. I just said to her today to learn the French phrase for "please don't hurt me." I do feel for her, because she keeps saying I keep trying to find ways of discharging myself, but what is the point? She's in there for a reason. She needs to get it done. A few months down the line she'll look back and this will be a distant memory. She won't even think about it again. So anyway, that's the reason this one is going to be either sped up or just have music on, because I need to be waiting for a phone call. And as you know, I use my phone to do my filming. So I'm going to get all my things together, prepare my table, get a design in mind to do this. It doesn't need to be anything flash, but I don't like to do anything I'm not just going to do WC, am I? I've got to do something nice with it. The next scene you'll see will be me set up and knowing what I'm doing. Right, get some more green out. I decided to go with the bright green because I thought it would stand out more across the garden than anything else, and it'll just get lost in the darkness of the grey. I was also researching online yesterday for like instructions to put behind the toilet, because obviously a compost toilet has got to be used in a certain way compared to a normal one, and I think most people know that when they go to concerts and things like that and they have to use one of those toilets in a cabin. They're very often compost toilets. But I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it in French because we're being in France. Anybody that's coming should know more or less what it means. And to be honest, the French seem to use compost toilets quite a lot, so I think they'll know anyway. But it just makes sense, especially if might not work, but if they've had a few glasses of wine, they might forget what to do with it. But then again, if they've had a few glasses of wine, they might not be able to see straight to read it either. But anyway, I'm putting together the instructions, and some of you may or may not know, when you have a compost toilet, they have a separate section for number ones and number twos. So I've just got to make it clear Everybody has to sit down to make sure everything goes in the compartment it should do. Not a problem for women, because obviously we sit down anyway, but it's going to be more a case of reminding the men. I've also found a picture that shows that standing up is wrong and sitting down is good, and so the standing up has got a cross across it and the sitting down has got a tick. So I think that's a bit obvious, and of course then they have to use sawdust when they've done their business if it's needed, if you get my meaning. Been waiting to do this toilet for years. We just couldn't really decide where it was going to go, whether it would be suitable. It's funny, every time I do any painting I do forget how much I enjoy it as well. Yeah, so as I say, Sharon is home now, and very glad to be home. It was getting her down a little bit being in there in the hospital. It's a little bit daunting when you don't speak French, but she's okay. I just had to keep reminding her. In the end, a few weeks down the line, she'll be looking back and wondering what she was stressing about. But I can already tell she's got so much more flexibility in her knee now than she had before she went in, so which is good. And the neighbours in for Perros and Nibbles tomorrow night, because they go on holiday on Saturday. We go on holiday on Tuesday. I fancy a little bit of a games night. Whether they will want that or not, I don't know. But I like to play board game or on the Xbox games, like the virtual games are quite good. But we haven't played Triominoes. I don't know if you know Triominoes. It's the dominoes game, but it's on triangular pieces, and yeah, I enjoy that, so I fancy having a go at Triominoes. I never win, but I just like enjoy the challenge. It helps to keep the brain ticking over. I've been next door this morning preparing the gîte next door. Seen on FOPY'sFrance we do have a gîte as well, and not far to go, it's literally next door. And we've got, it's Ascension here in France today, and a lot of French like to take a long weekend, and we've got a little family coming to stay until Monday. There we go. So let's leave that to one side to dry. Now I need to decide on what colours to use for my birds. I've got the birds on the computer screen here, so I'll get my colours out and then I'll get on with that. Okay, as far as I can make out from the picture on the screen, in fact what I'm looking at is a great tip rather than a blue tit. So we want to start with the yellow on the chest. Okay. I've no idea if I'm even marking this the right way. Maybe I'm inventing a new bird. I'll give the other bird something to talk about. Who's the new bird in town? So something I just thought about. Renee, if you're watching, I hope your packing is going okay. You must be getting really excited now, coming to live out here. So Renee mentioned about coming to see me when she is over here, when she goes on A little bit of a jaunt around France. So that's exciting. I don't know if any of you remember, but when I did my second little exhibition, Rennie sent me pictures of the fairy houses that she does, makes from basically anything she can find, and they were so lovely. And she said when she comes over she'll make me one. I'm thrilled to bits I am if I get one of those. As I say, I don't think she's going to be a blue tip. It's so the shape of it seemed much more near to a great tip, which is some sort of foreign them colours. As I say, could be making my own bird up. It's all good fun. I need to put a base of white on the wings. I don't know if any of you, again, those that watch FOPY'sFrance will remember we won some tickets. Actually, I might even have just put it on Instagram. I can't remember for sure what I spoke about it on here. But anyway, we won some tickets for go-karting, and we used them a few weeks ago, and I filmed it. So that video is going up soon. Might even be this week, but I'm not totally sure. But that was quite good fun. Do you know what I've just realised? I haven't put my apron on. It's on the back of my chair. Lest I do that. So I do not want to paint down my clothes. Right, now we do need some white on the wings. Now some of you are probably thinking, why are you painting a broken bird? I say, why not? Daughter passed the driving test this week, or last week probably, can't remember exactly what day, which is fantastic because she's got twin girls and a baby, and it's always been a little bit difficult for her getting around, as you can imagine, but now she can get about quite easily, thank goodness. So when I go to visit, hopefully next month or the month after, I'll no doubt go by train or boat and maybe not take the car. It'd be quite nice to drive around with her while I'm there. Two of my other children have got cars, the other one's desperately trying to get her licence. Okay, so now we need, let that one dry, and then I need to work out the colours for the next one. I need more white. So again, this may not look like a robin in the end, but the pictures on the screen are giving me some sort of guideline. As again you'll see in my other videos, I've got a lot of bird song in the garden, and I don't know what birds they are most of the time. The only one I'd say, or two I think I would say I would know, and that would be a pigeon and a owl. You can dry. Let's have a look at this one. Has it dried yet? It's dried enough, I think. It's like, it's not, they say red breast, but it's quite golden really, isn't it? So we need a bit of red and a bit of yellow. Maybe not. It's not quite dry. No. Right, is my sign dry yet? No. Right, I'm going to have to put you on pause. I've decided to, I might have already said this, but I've decided to make like a branches round the letters and then put some flowers on. I've got to make these branches quite dark because they won't show up. Right, let's let that dry, and then I'll add a little bit to that. Right, let's get back to my birds. I've just remembered something I haven't told you. Do you remember when I was painting the garden ornaments that I did with some bits and pieces? I did all different ones, and there was a man and a lady, which was quite sort of naive looking art. Well, our French neighbour that gave it to us was watching the video and was really chuffed, because it turned out that he is the one that made them, and we thought maybe it was his father or something, but he said he made them when he was younger. I think he was quite pleased that we were looking after them, and yeah, it was really quite sweet. We didn't even have to ask in the end. He's just said about it. Okay. Okay, now let's do some black markings. I don't know why I'm doing this really. I've got a top to make for the holiday. So I suppose I've got a couple of days to go. Black on his head and black under the chin. This is going to be a bit more difficult. I'm just going to... It's all guesswork, guys. I'm winging it. I'm just following the lines of the grooves on the thing, so I don't know where else to place them. There we go. I might just do this and then put a little bit of light on his eye when it's dry, and that'll be it, I think. I'm sure he's grateful of having any colour, considering he's lost half his tail. Little stump. Certainly better than he was when he came in. Right, Mr. Robin, you're still not quite dry, are you? So I'm going to go back to my flowers. Over this side, a bit more dry. Always for a toilet sign. We've got to hope now that Duncan likes it, and he doesn't mind it being on his pride and joy, his new toilet. probably too many flowers, but it'll serve its purpose. Claws. I'm doing no worse a job than probably the people that made them originally. How are you doing over here? You need your claws done as well, don't you? Let's get... I think we're more or less done. There we go, one sign, and you'll see in the thumbnail the final, but there we go. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you whenever the next time is.